What is going on, ladies and gentlemen? My name is Alex Shahid, and I'm excited about this topic tonight. So many people today are on the grind. They're out there. They're hustling, and unfortunately, what we see is a lot of people are making money, creating great income, 100,000, quarter million, half million, $1 million a year, but a year, 2 years, 5 years later, they don't have much to show for it. And it's one thing to make money, it's another thing to build wealth. And I don't think there's a single person on the hundreds of people on this Zoom tonight, there's not a single person that jumped on that just wants to make money. You're here because building wealth creates a better life. Discipline equals freedom. What disciplines do you need to master to build wealth and create freedom? And those are great questions. Those are all going to be answered tonight for my friends zooming in from all over the country, all over the world. I'm excited to share my quick story before I introduce a mentor of mine, somebody that's a six-time best-selling author, has made tens of millions in business, but has a net worth more than twice that amount. It's one thing, again, to make money. It's another thing to keep it. And I think it was, I forget who it was from Shark Tank, said he wants to send his money out in the world and have it come back with friends. And so that's what we're going to learn a little bit about tonight. And when I was 22 years old in college, I gained some insight from this gentleman. And as a broke college kid, because he taught me to pay myself first, wealth building principles, I was able to save about $8,000 to $9,000 before I graduated. And I know that doesn't sound like much to anybody on a wealth building Zoom. How do you build wealth with $8,000 or $9,000? Well, that was in 2012. So 13 years later, that's grown to over $1 million invested. And so from 8,000 to over seven figures. How do you do that? What does it take? Do you have $8,000 you can start investing now that can grow to over $1 million in just over a decade? Maybe so. Maybe tonight you'll learn some things like I learned that I got excited about because I wanted to build a business for my last name, not for my first name. And I knew the key to wealth building was not what I made, but what I invested. So, Mr. Carruthers, thank you so much for pouring into me, for changing my family's financial future, not only for providing us amazing mentorship, but for teaching us about money and how it can be a good thing when used properly, how it's a good passenger, not a good driver. And I'm so excited to take notes and listen to you tonight. So I'm going to turn it over to you, sir.
Awesome. Well, number one, thank you, Mr. Shahid, for the kind words and the amazing introduction. And thank you for sharing your story. We always know that success leaves clues. And the fact that you have taken some of this financial guidance and I've watched you implement it, and I've watched it create a seven-figure net worth for you while you're still in your 30s. That's amazing because there are people that are in their 70s that have not done that yet, and they have less runway to work with. And so tonight, everybody, I just want to tell you, I'm excited about doing this. I have spoken on many stages over the years about how to build a business in the direct selling industry, how to recruit, how to sell, leadership, team development, all that kind of stuff. But in recent years, a lot of my content that I deliver on stages or on big webcasts is about wealth building. It's about getting smart with your money. It's about building your net worth, being a good steward of your assets. And so a lot of times it's behind a paywall. A lot of times you pay to get the program or you pay to get into that event. When I've been on stage not long ago with Tony Robbins or Richard Branson or Magic Johnson or Grant Cardone, I talk about money. And I talk about money because I was very interested in money from a very early age. I was raised in a money conscious household. Both of my parents came from families that had very little. And as I grew up, I watched them as business builders, entrepreneurs, build very successful businesses and made a lot of money. And I saw the things that our family was able to do and have because of money. The private school educations for me and my three siblings, and a beautiful home to live in. We were spoiled each with a brand new car at age 16. We were blessed with a safety net to be able to go out there and do what we want to do in our lives, knowing they got our backs. And there's that peace of mind knowing that what they worked hard for provided all that for us. But I was an entrepreneur from a very early age. I was out raking leaves, shoveling driveways, cutting lawns, catching crabs and selling crabs at the beach, and everything I could do to make money so that I can invest that money. And in my early days, I invested it into baseball cards. And then later on, I started investing in stocks. And I've always been in the mode of how can I build my empire. Now, I didn't have that terminology 40 years ago when I was a kid, but now you guys know me for my book, Building an Empire. And so tonight, my goal, again, you've all been invited. I sent out an email to everybody who is on my email list. If you're not on my email list, get on it. BrianCarruthers.com, go get on it. So whenever I do things like this, you'll know. Just scroll down my BrianCarruthers.com landing page and scroll down until you find the little yellow box and put in your email address. But I was sitting in church the Sunday before last, so a week and a half ago, or not even barely a week ago. And I sat there listening to Biblical Wealth Building. It was a series that our church, our pastor is doing for 3 weeks. And it was very cool to see. This is amazing. I went to our church last year and I did a 1.5 hour wealth building money mindset coaching meeting for all of the church and school staff. They crammed 50 people into that room. The light bulbs that I saw going on over top of people's heads, it warmed my heart. They were getting money wisdom or financial education that was not offered in school. We know that they don't teach this stuff in school. It's kind of by design. School is designed to put you into a job, so you got to go chase money working for somebody else for the rest of your life. They don't teach you how to become financially independent in school. And after that meeting at church, I had a lot of them came up afterward, like in a single file line saying, "Hey, my spouse needs to hear this. Do you do private coaching sessions? Can my spouse and I take you out to lunch?" And of course, I'm so busy, I don't have the bandwidth to do that. So again, let me get into this. We want to help you all learn the financial path to get on the other side of money, to master the game of money. So this is my family, Melissa, Talon, Colton, and Aiden. We have a very blessed life. I'm very grateful for it. I'm thankful every single day. God is good. I am walking in my faith, sternly in the right direction with the right alignment in my life. I know that everything I have and everything that ever comes to me is God's in the first place. And it's my responsibility to be a good steward. And I hope that you believe the same thing. I've been very blessed to get around the people that could teach me what I needed to learn. In my earlier days, I would spend time with Robert Kiyosaki. I spent time with my billionaire mentor, Paul J. Meyer. This is me at his house back in Waco, Texas, when he was alive. I've been able to write these books to be able to help people in their pursuit of entrepreneurship and building wealth. I was featured with Grant Cardone on his Mogul show. I've spoken on stages with him. I actually had him on a Zoom with me just a few months ago, which I put on my YouTube channel. Richard Branson. I mean, all these different people. So getting around, again, get in the right rooms where you can learn the right information. Now, if people are millionaires and billionaires, they learn something that you didn't learn. And it's not too late, by the way. It's never too late. I'm a big believer that time freedom is possible once you've got financial freedom. But if you don't have financial freedom, you're going to have to keep on trading your time for money the rest of your life. That was my son, Colton, when he was a little guy. That was right when that book came out. It was delivered to our house at the beach in Ocean City, Maryland. And I said, "Hey, Colton, hold this book. Let me take a picture." And that was a nice little candid shot there. But look, kids spell love Time. Your kids want more time with you. Your spouse wants more time with you. Your church wants you there more. Like, there's things in life other than just chasing money. So if we can have a path, a formula to get on the other side of money and having money, instead of you chasing money, have money chase you, now you're in a better place. So let's talk about money. We're going to get a lot of stuff uncovered. A lot of this stuff is like, I know you want me to jump right into, what do I invest in? Nope. You're going to hear that later. Later tonight, you're going to hear that. We got to dig down deep into the stuff that's messing you up. 99 out of 100 people on this webcast right now are messed up financially, and it's not your fault. You've been conditioned and programmed a certain way. I learned how to get the right conditioning and programming. I had to switch a few things. I had to learn some different things, and it served me very well. And I want you guys to get this tonight once and for all. Money can give you stress and worry. It can limit how you live. It can be a cancer to your relationship. Marriages fall apart. Number one reason, money. Number two reason, infidelity. But number one, money problems, fighting over stuff. My spouse spends too much money. My spouse is lazy and not making enough money. Whatever that might be, money is a problem for most people. But money can be a source of stress, or it can be a source of peace. Because I don't stress about money. Now, when I see my Apple stock go down 2% in a day, I get bummed out by it, but it doesn't stress me out. I've had investments go bad. Last year, I lost $1 million in a stock investment. It didn't move the needle in my life. It's a small fraction of my net worth. And I only invest money in a way that if something goes wrong, it doesn't affect my life. So money is a source of peace for me. We've now, in the last 3 years, given away more money than I made in my first 12 years of my adult working life to charities and to church and to things that are important. So money, I want money to be a peaceful thing for you, an empowering thing. So I'm going to share with you, this is some slides from a talk that I gave that people spend a lot of money to attend. And if I say anything tonight, or if you see something on a slide that rubs you the wrong way, it feels like a gut punch, I would encourage you to embrace growing pains. If I'm going to sit in a seminar or a webinar and spend my time or my money to go get that information, I hope I come out of there not thinking, oh my gosh, I'm so glad he said everything I'm doing is right. It's such a great investment of my hour to have somebody just tell me to keep doing what you're already doing. No, that's not what I want to go find. I want to walk into a seminar or a webinar and then walk out saying, oh my gosh, that was a little painful. Like, I didn't realize I was messing that up. Thankfully, I was there to hear the real truth. Somebody to tell me what I needed to hear, even if it stings. That's why they call it growing pains. I want you all to have some healthy growing pains. When a child is growing, sometimes they feel a little body ache because their bones are growing. So fix your money mindset or else. Okay? So unconscious mindset. I wrote about this in Money Mindset. I wrote about it in Making My First 10 Million. You are very likely repelling money instead of attracting it. Because if you believe that rich people are greedy, have you ever heard anybody say anything like that before? Maybe multiple times? I don't want to be, if you or others around you say, oh, the millionaires and billionaires want all the tax cuts. They're just making money off of everybody else. Rich people are bad. Money is dirty. If you think like that, no wonder you can't get and keep money. Subconsciously, you can't stomach the idea of having a lot of money because you keep on telling everybody that rich people are greedy and the millionaires and billionaires are bad people because they found a way to bring so much value to society with their business that they made all this money, and somehow they're inherently evil for doing it. That is why you'll never make a lot of money and keep what you make. You've got an adverse relationship with money. Any money that you get coming in, you get rid of it out the back door as soon as you can. You spend it on your bills, and then anything that's left, you blow it real fast because subconsciously, not even consciously, subconsciously, you think money is evil. Money is not the root of all evil. The love of money, making money your idol, is the root of evil. You shouldn't make money your idol. You should make it your tool. Weaponize it for good. Having a lot of money makes you more of what you are. If you're a good person, you can afford to do a lot of good things. If you're a bad person, it can make you able to do a lot of bad things. So again, I wrote that the whole first few chapters of Money Mindset was designed to help people understand that unconsciously you are screwed up and it's causing you to not make as much as you can make and keep as much as you can keep. So once you switch that, you can stop repelling money and start attracting money. And I'll give you an example. I don't know about some of you. Maybe you can relate to this. Maybe you're like, you're just weird. But when I have cash, like I don't have a bunch. I should have brought some with me. I had this because I was holding it up before for a picture. But I got this beautiful, crisp $100 bill. It's like it was just off the printing press. It's like brand new. Still smells new. This is clean money to me. Sometimes I'll carry around some cash and I fold it over and I put it in my pocket. I fold it over in half. If I go to a store and if I'm for some reason paying cash, I will flip to the dirtiest dollar bills and I will spend that first. Anybody else like me? You want to get rid of the dirty bills? You like to keep the clean ones? Or am I just weird? Maybe I'm weird. Okay, so I see some of y'all, you're smiling. Okay, so I don't like to have the dirty bills. It's dirty. It's got germs. I don't know where it's been. Dirty people that just went to the bathroom and are now touching their money and now it's in my hands. Ew. Here's the thing. Some of you all, that's how you think about money in general. Whether it's a physical dirtiness of a dollar bill or whether it's the uncleanly, bad thing about money in general being bad, you're repelling money, getting rid of it. So my question for you, who was or is your financial coach? Who is helping you start figuring some of these things out? Your parents can't teach you what they don't know. Where have you gone to look to find yourself a financial mentor? And is your mentor, are they worthy of modeling? Like, have they shown you what they have? There's a lot of people out there that look like they got a lot of money. They're driving a beautiful car. They got their Rollie on their wrist. They got their Rolex. They got the Louis Vuitton. Some of those people look the part, but you look at their bank account, they got nothing. They're street rich. Out in the street, walking down the sidewalk, they look rich, but they don't got much. They're spending all what they got to make themselves look good to society. So who are you following? Who are you modeling after? Are they worthy of being modeled? I'd want to see their bank account. Now, I'm not. I'm probably being a hypocrite now. I'm not going to show you my bank account. Just take my word for it that I've got tens of millions of dollars of net worth. Anybody who knows me, they already know that. There are people that are close to me that I've like shown my 60,000 shares of Apple stock in my little dashboard of my stock account. They're like, my gosh, he's got $17 million of Apple stock alone. Okay. He's legit. Like he's not messing around. He's not lying. Are they investing time to teach you? Because a mentor, you can have a mentor from afar. Like you read their book, you went to their seminar and you're learning. Like I learned that way from Jim Rohn as an example. But do you have anybody that's really leaning in? Like having this kind of a conversation with you. That's what I want you guys to seek out. And that's why I decided when I was at church a week ago Sunday that I was going to do this webcast so that I can be that person for you. So if you're not motivated by money, because I've had people say, Brian, money's not everything. Yeah, you can't buy happiness. Well, if you're not motivated by money, what are you motivated by? What are you motivated by? If money's not a motivation, what are you motivated by? And whatever that answer is that you're thinking of right now, would money help with that? Oh, I'm motivated to go on mission trips to be able to spread the gospel. Okay. Would you need money to get on a plane? Would you want to take things to that community that you're going to and pass out Bibles? I don't know what you're motivated by. Are you motivated to be able to be a great matriarch or a patriarch for your family and change the generational financial curse that your family's always had and leave a legacy? You know, pay for your kids and your grandkids and your great grandkids' college educations. You know, what are you motivated by? And would money help with that? I bet you anything that you say you're motivated by, money would help with it. So again, you've got to get this thing about money not being good. You've got to tie the aspect of money, you got to make that concept a good thing. You've got to attract money because you believe money is good. Money's going to help you do so much good for people you care about and people around the world. So a question that was asked of me many, many years ago, and I'll never forget it. This guy sat at a coffee shop with me. I was talking to him about business. I was talking about how he might want to get into my business with me. And he said this was asked of him by a mentor he had years ago. And when this was shared with me and he asked me this question, I'm like, my gosh, it's a very important question. If I asked you to take out your checkbook right now and stroke a check for the highest dollar amount you could without it bouncing, what would that number be? And do you like that number? How does that number make you feel? Like if the amount that you could stroke a check for right now is $1,200, that means you got $1,200 cash to your name. Does that make you feel at peace or does that make you feel anxiety? If you could stroke a check for $300,000, does that make you feel at peace or does it give you anxiety? Now, that probably has a lot to do with your personal circumstances. If you're young and you got 300 grand, you're probably feeling like you're on cloud nine. If you're older and nearing retirement and you know that won't last you the rest of your life, you might be feeling anxiety even with $300,000. Because the reality is you're going to need multiple seven figures to retire with a good lifestyle without having any worry about outliving your money. The average American, let me share with you what they've saved for retirement so far. Look at these stats. 45,000 in their 20s. In their 30s, 63,000. In their 40s, 117,000. In their 50s, 172,000. I'm sorry, I didn't get them right. In their 60s, 172,000. People in their 20s, 16K. And that's in their retirement accounts with their 401ks, IRAs, whatever. The median is $63,000. That's not good. So again, wake up call. Okay, now we're going to talk tonight about what to do about that. So another wake up call, and I'm all about waking up. I'm all about awareness. When I'm talking to my kids that are 6 and 8, they're walking around, dripping popsicles all over the kitchen floor. I step in it 3 hours later and my foot sticks to the floor and I'm ready to yell. I try not to yell, but I'm just so mad because now I'm walking around with sticky socks and I'm like, their awareness, like stop walking around dripping your stuff on the floor. Stop eating chips and cookies and like having crumbs go everywhere. Like awareness. Awareness is everything. You can't change what you're not aware of. So let's talk about awareness financially. Let's say you want to retire and it's you and your spouse. Two of you, two people. And let's say you desire to have 3 meals a day, which is kind of a healthy thing, 3 meals a day. And let's say you want to eat every day. Like you don't want to take days off, right? You want to eat 365 days a year. And let's say you plan to live 20 more years after retirement. So let's say you retire at 75 and you're going to live to 95, as an example. And let's say you're spending $7 per meal. Now you might say, Brian, you can't get $7. You can't get a meal for $7. Like a happy meal at McDonald's is more than $7 now. Five Guys, little, not regular, little cheeseburger at Five Guys, $9.58 here in Virginia, where I live. Not almost $10 for a little cheeseburger. Not even fries, just a little cheeseburger. $9. So I'm talking about $7 meals. So you too want to eat 3 $7 meals a day, 365 days for 20 years. Do you realize you're going to need to have $306,000 cash in the bank just to be able to do that? That's not including having a house to live in with a mortgage or utilities or gas for your car or a car payment or insurance or Christmas presents for the grandkids. That's like just 3 $7 meals a day. Where's your number at right now relative to what you need just for that alone? Again, just awareness, not to spook you, not to get you like all discouraged, but we're going to start tonight, today, whenever you're watching this. And we're going to make a decision that we're going to change, and we're going to change fast. There's a difference between being wealthy and being rich. And make sure you understand the difference, because wealth is a measurement of time. How long could you survive with your current outflow of expenditures before you ran out of money and became homeless? So if your bills are $5,000 a month and you've got $10,000 in the bank, that means if you lost your job in 2 months, you would be on the street. Would you feel wealthy? Probably not. You probably feel stressed. You probably feel broke. So wealth is a measurement of time. If you had 5 million in the bank and your cost of living is 5,000 a month, you would feel wealthy because you would have enough money to live for decades. You would never have to worry about outliving your money. So you would feel wealthy. Rich is more of an adjective. Being rich means you got so much money, you're just blowing it on stuff. You got the diamond earrings, you got the Louis Vuitton bag, you got the Rolex, you got the fancy car, you got the whatever you want. Rich. If you want to be rich, fine. If you want to have all the trappings of success and all the fancy stuff you can show off to your friends, cool. Nothing wrong with that. When I was 28 years old and I got started as an entrepreneur in my company, I don't know what it means when your nose is itching. If somebody's thinking about me, talking about me, voodoo doll sticking something on my nose on the doll. I don't know what's going on. Sorry, my nose is itching. What was I saying? Oh, so when I was 28 years old, I wanted a Rolex because I thought that I would look successful and I wanted respect from other people. So I said, if I get a Rolex on my wrist and I can walk around and show it off to people, people think, oh, Brian's important. I have it still. I bought it when I was 28 years old when I hit my goals, and 6 months later, boom, I got there. I spent $6,000 on a watch. Now the good news is I can sell that watch right now for 14,000 bucks. That value went up, so it actually turned out to be an investment, not just a spend. But all to say, I wanted to look rich, but I soon learned that it's better to be wealthy than looking rich. I want to be able to look at my bank account when I look at my balance, and my investment and my balance sheet. I want to be able to look at that and be feeling a real good feeling every time I look. Now, there's something called the latte factor. The latte factor is there are things that you're spending money in your look. Before I even talk about this, if you want to lose weight, there's a couple ways you can do it. You can eat less or you can work out more. Or if you want to lose weight even faster, eat less and work out more. Do both and you can get there twice as fast. So if you want to build wealth, you can either do two things. You can either earn more or you can spend less. Or if you want to get wealth built twice as fast, you can earn more and spend less simultaneously. And so that's what I've done. I've been very frugal. A big chunk of the money that comes in for all the way back 20 some years ago, I try to invest more than I spend. And so everything I look at, I'm always considering the opportunity cost of the money that I'm about to spend. The latte factor is if you're spending $5 for a cup of coffee or a latte at Starbucks at your favorite coffee shop, what if you didn't spend that $5 and actually invested it instead of spending that on that coffee? Because you can brew a cup of coffee at home for under $1. And you still get the caffeine bump or whatever. It just might not be in a fancy cup with a little flour on top. But that $5, what could you do with that $5? See, the opportunity cost of that $5, spending it now or investing it for the future, there's something called the rule of 72. The rule of 72 basically means if you get a 10% return on an investment, every 7 years, it will double. So that $5 latte that you're buying each day, that's not $5, it's $10 in 7 years. No, it's not 10, it's $20 in 14 years. It's $40 in 21 years. So when I look at a $5 latte, I'm like, do I want to spend $5 because it's not 5, it's 10. It's not even 10, it's 20. Like I'm looking out 14 years from now, that $5 cost me $20. I'm stealing from my retirement. I'm stealing from my future. I'm stealing from my net worth, the empire I'm trying to build by spending $5 right now. So what is your latte? What are you spending money on that you shouldn't be that you could do without? Do you have all the fancy channels on your TV? Are you paying for cable? Are you paying for Netflix? Do you have apps on your phone that you're paying for? Do you smoke cigarettes? Do you chew tobacco? Do you drink coffee at expensive places? When you go out, are you drinking alcohol? I'm not saying don't drink. I'm not telling you how to live like that. I'm simply saying that here's one alcohol thing. So when I'm out with people, it's so funny because we're getting ready to leave, whether it's a restaurant, a bar, or whatever. And they're like, all right, we're getting ready. Let's say we're out late on a Friday night or whatever, and they're getting ready to close. They're like, hey, we got 15 minutes till close. Last call for drinks. And people are like, oh, give me one. People are like, I need to get a last drink. They got to go spend $14 more to get another cocktail so they can consume it real quick and then go home to sleep. They didn't need that last cocktail. And it cost them 14. No, it didn't cost 14. It cost 28. Then it cost 28. It cost 56. The opportunity cost, they stole $56 from their future to go slam that quick last minute cocktail they didn't even need. They already had a buzz. They were already getting ready to go home. They didn't need it. When I'm at an airport and I see somebody buying a $2 pack of gum, I'm like, that's not two, that's four. Actually, it's not even four. It's an $8 pack of gum. Because I understand if they invested that $2, it can turn into $8. It's the opportunity cost. People don't think. They don't understand the game of money. They're a pawn in somebody else's money game instead of being the king or queen of their own game of money. I want you all to be the king or queen. When was the last time you sat down with your family and did a budget? Take a look at your credit card statement and your ledger of your checkbook and say, okay, what are we spending money on? Here's how much money we got coming in, and here's how much is going out. Again, awareness. If you start looking at like, oh my gosh, look at the water bill. But little Johnny needs a 30-minute shower. No, little Johnny does not need a daydream in there. He needs a shower and wash and turn off the water in 5 minutes and save the water for the other 25 minutes. I understand that because I got kids that'll sit in the shower and then I don't know what, they're like, I don't know, just like playing like 10 songs while they're just daydreaming in the shower. Well, you know, you pay that in the water bill. When you walk around your house, maybe everybody in the household will start realizing if we want to actually, start getting ahead financially, we need to start turning off the lights when we leave the room. I've got crazy money, you guys. I still get bothered by lights being on, by water being wasted. So when I leave on vacation, I turn my air conditioning up in the summertime. When we don't need it to be cool, I'll turn it up to 85, 90 degrees because we don't need it cool while we're not here. Some people are like, oh, just leave it. Who cares? Because they don't care about money. So have a budget meeting. If everybody is aware of the goal of the family to build enough future wealth for the family so that the kids can go to college and maybe you guys can go on more vacations and you got whatever, right? So you got to have a budget. If you're not aware of the outflow and where it's all going, then you're not going to have any semblance of a chance of correcting it. So that budget meeting is important. Now, you want more money. There are 3 forms of income. There's 3 kinds of money that you can work for. Linear income getting paid on what you do, leveraged income getting paid on other people's efforts, and then residual income getting paid over and over again for what you did one time. Now, there's a lot of people that follow me that are in my same marketing industry that understand all this, but there might be some people on here right now that have no clue what I'm talking about. So let me just spend 1 minute on this. Linear income. You trade your time, you get money. Whether you're punching a clock at a job, getting a salary, or whether you're a real estate agent like I was, selling a house and getting paid a commission on it, getting paid on your efforts. That's what most people are used to getting. And then you've got leveraged income, getting paid on other people's efforts. You've probably heard of OPM, other people's money. Like hedge fund managers, like take other people's investments and they go out and use it to make money for their clients, but also for themselves. Other people's money is how they make their millions and billions. Well, other OPE is other people's efforts. Would you rather be the real estate agent and get paid only commissions on the houses you sell? Or would you rather be the real estate broker who's got 50 agents working for you and get a little piece of action off of each of their sales? That's other people's efforts. That's leveraged income. You've got to find a way to get leverage working for you instead of always being leveraged. And then residual income. This is the grail. This is the mother lode, the grail of all incomes. This is where you do something one time, you get paid over and over and over and over and over and over again for what you did once. That's the key to freedom, my friends. That's why I wrote the book. This is it. It's on the screen right there. I wrote the book, Money Mindset, but I also wrote this book in 2019, Untrapped Freedom Manifesto. Become an entrepreneur to escape the grind and find freedom and happiness. I wrote this book because everybody says they want time freedom, but they're never going to have time freedom if they have to keep on giving away their time to get new money. And you always need new money. As long as you're alive, you're going to need money to spend on stuff. So you always have to give your time away to get the money that you need to live. Unless you're smart enough to become an entrepreneur, to start a business that creates business assets that will keep on paying you residual cash flow that you don't have to keep working for. Like Warren Buffett said, you got to find a way to make money while you sleep. If you don't, you're going to work until you die. So residual income, whether you're an insurance agent selling an insurance policy, and every time the policy automatically renews, you get automatic renewal income. With what I do with my business, I sign somebody up for a service, and every time they pay for the service every month, I'm getting paid a little piece of that, even though I signed them up one time. You've got to have leverage. And I would not do anything else the rest of my life if it didn't have leverage and it didn't have residual income attached. If 100% of your income comes from 100% of what you do in my book, that's called scary. What happens if you get sick, can't work, want to retire, God forbid you lose your job? What would happen? So work for the right kind of income. Matter of fact, if there is a $1 bill, a $20 bill, and a $100 bill sitting on the table, what are you grabbing? All three. Get all three forms of income. Don't just pick one. Now, there's tax advantages of being in business for yourself. I'm not saying you got to go out and spend $1 million to open up a store and have employees and sell stuff, food or stuff or whatever. I'm not talking about going out and starting a brick and mortar business. I'm saying you can be a W-2 worker, working a job, trading your time away, or on the side, what if you started a side business where you're an entrepreneur? You get 1099 like commission income. You know what? You're not only getting another source of income, but as a W-2, you make the money and you pay taxes on the full amount of money. So you make this amount of money, you pay taxes on this amount of money. As an entrepreneur, at 1099 situation, you make this amount of money, you take all your deductions and expenses off, and you pay taxes on the remaining balance of that. So you get tax advantages. The average person who starts a side business, I'm not promoting a side business, I'm just telling you a fact here. The average person starting a side business, even if you're just putting a couple hours a week into it, will save anywhere from $3,000 to $5,000 of in-pocket tax savings. Just because you're in business pursuing to make a profit, even if you're not making any money in it, you can still deduct those expenses off your ordinary income from your job. It'll offset your other income, even if your business is not making you any money yet and is showing a loss even. Write off your mileage in your car and your part of your mortgage or rent for your home office expense, your internet, your cell phone, meals, all kinds of stuff you can write off. And that's why, again, I'm not going to get into the weeds on that. That's why I wrote my book, Money Mindset, to share the tax advantages, to share where to invest the money that you're actually making. Okay, tonight we can't get into all that, but this is a formula that is imperative that you learn and follow. It's called the 10-10-80 rule. And what this basically means is you got 100% of your income is coming in, 100%. 10%, the first 10% of that money that comes in, give it back to who it belongs to. Everything that you earn, everything that you have, in my belief, is God's by right of creation. Everything I have is His. I'm grateful for anything that comes my way. I'm glad He's having it flow through me to wherever it's going to go. So they call that in church tithing. Now, maybe you're not somebody of faith. I'm not here to convince you of that. The other side of that is if you're not tithing 10%, then go give 10% away to a charity or a cause that is important to you. Give away 10% or give back to God 10%. You choose what that means to you, but give away 10%. Then the second 10 is pay yourself 10%. Pay yourself first before you pay your bills. So give 10% to God or charity, pay yourself 10%, and then live off the other 80. I've had people say, Brian, I hear what you're saying. I understand what you mean, but I can't afford to pay my bills on 100% of my income. So how in the world are you expecting me to be able to do it with 80% of my income? And my answer to that is, so you're having a hard time paying your bills with 100%? Yes. Are you going to still have a same hard time paying your bills with 80%? Yes. Seems pretty logical to me. You're having a hard time whether you got 100% of your income to do it or 80% of your income to do it. You're still going to be having a hard time paying your bills. Who is more important to you? You and your family, or the people you owe money to? You and your family, or the credit card company? You and your family, or the car loan company? I hope your answer is smart and you say you and your family is more important than any of these other corporations. I'm not saying don't pay them. You borrowed it, you owe it, you're going to pay it. But you're going to pay yourself first because you matter the most. Nobody else is looking out for your family. The president ain't going to do it. Your hometown mayor's not going to do it. Your senator's not going to do it. Nobody's going to look out for your economy. You are the only one that can look after your personal economy. So tithe 10%, pay yourself 10%, and use the other 80 to pay your bills. Now, when you're saying pay yourself first, you know what you need to do? You need to open a wealth account. You need to have a separate bank account that is not your operating account. You've got an operating account right now. Hopefully it's a checking account. Maybe it's savings, but probably a checking account. And you pay your bills out of that. So that's what you're operating your life out of. That's where the 80% is coming from. But when you got money that comes in, like a commission check or a paycheck or whatever, when the money comes in, let's say it's $1, 10 cents goes to God, 10% to your wealth building account, and the 80 cents goes to paying your bills. That wealth building account is not your rainy day fund, by the way. It's not like, oh, my car broke down, I can go into that account and pay for it because I can't afford to do it out of my operating account. No. You'll figure out where the money's going to come from, but you're not stealing from your future to pay for a flat tire or an alternator. Your wealth building account is your future. You put the money towards it and you're not stealing from it. If you're not disciplined, the world will discipline you. I would prefer self-discipline than getting disciplined. So that wealth building account. There's a great book called Start Late, Finish Rich by David Bach. He also wrote The Automatic Millionaire, where he basically talks about setting that up with your employer automatically, where when you get your paycheck, 10% already came off. And what goes in your operating account is what the leftover automatically. So it doesn't have to be you making that decision every time you get your payday. Now, look, there's good debt and bad debt. There are people that teach money, teach wealth building. And I'm not going to name names, but there's one very well-known guy out there who talks about getting debt-free, the whole target, the end zone, debt-free, owe nobody nothing. Well, for a novice, let's just call it that, for somebody who does not know much about money, I'm sure it would feel great to not owe anybody anything. Being debt-free would be really awesome. But here's what I would tell you. That's just basically getting to ground zero. You're going from underwater to above water. But there's a lot of incredible things you can go do when you're above water. So just getting out of debt it should not be your end game. Maybe that's a goal, but when I tell people I got a mortgage on every property I can have, like my house I'm sitting in right now, I've got a $1.1 million mortgage on it. And people are like, well, Brian, you got so much money. Why would you not just pay that off? Because my interest rate's 3.5%. Why in the world would I pay that off? I can go easily get 10% return on my money as an investment. So why would I pay off a $1 million mortgage at 3.5% when I could put that $1 million into an investment and get 10%? The delta, the difference between that 6.5%, that's sheer profit for me. Why would I not want the 6.5% profit on the money and just give that money to the bank to pay off a mortgage? So when I say there's good debt and bad debt, good debt is an interest rate that is well below what you can get as far as a return on your investments. And so what I teach people to do is lay out all their debt. Just get this stuff out on a kitchen table. Do it in your family budget meeting or do it with your spouse. But get all your debt and lay it all out from highest to lowest. Your highest is going to be your credit cards. Credit cards have gone from 19%. I've been talking to some people lately. They're getting charged 39% interest on their credit card balance. You can't, well, I don't want to sound doomsday. It's pretty hard to dig out of that. You can't outrun 39% interest. As that compounds, how do you outrun that? So here's what I would tell you. Everything from highest to lowest. So start with the highest, like your 39% or your 29% or whatever your percentage is. That credit card, get rid of that. So when you pay yourself first at 10%, instead of investing that money in stocks or real estate or whatever, use that money to go pay that big interest rate debt off. Get the bad debt. The bad debt is anything above 7%. Anything above 7%. And I'm saying 7% instead of 10% because you might not be a great investor yet. You might not feel confident that you can go get 10% return on your money. You could probably just put it into an S&P index fund and get 10%. But let's just be conservative. Let's say you're going to pay off everything down to 7%. So when you pay off that credit card, what's the next thing? Maybe it's a student loan. Maybe you got a second mortgage. Maybe you got a car loan. You got whatever, payday loans, whatever you got that's high, pay it down from the top down. Once you're down, once everything above 7% is all knocked out, now you're pretty much left with good debt. Good debt meaning it's not serving you well to pay it off because you can do better with your cash, investing it and getting a better return. And again, that delta or the difference is going in your pocket as profit. Does that make sense? Hopefully, guys, that's making sense. And again, I'm trying to not to speak too fast, and I want to make sure you guys are grasping this. I've been talking about it for years, so sometimes it might seem elementary to me, but if this is the first time you've ever heard some of this stuff, don't feel bad because I speak to thousands of people in audiences, and people come up afterward, like people that are sharp looking, wearing $1,000 shoes and all kind, and they're like, I never knew this. So just don't feel bad. Now let's talk about investing. Rule number 1, don't lose money. Now, have I played by that rule? Have I abided by that, Bob? I've had my losses, okay? Rule number 1, don't lose money. Sometimes it's the longer you've been an investor and after you've had some wins, you start feeling a little confident, maybe even borderline cocky. And you start feeling like, you know what? I had that good call on Apple. I had that good call on Amazon. I had a good call on Spotify or Shopify. I had that good call on Chipotle. I had a good call on Under Armour. So you know what? I'm going to have a good call on X or Y or Z. And then you go heavy in it. I've had 7 and 8 figure wins. I've had some 7-figure losses. I invested in a couple restaurants with a good friend that I trusted. His stepfather was the founder of the chain, a well-known chain here in the area. I'm thinking, no lose, can't lose in this one. In a year and a half, I lost $760,000 gone. And that was earlier in my career, by the way. That was not in the last 10. That was like 20 years ago. That was a hard pill to swallow. Thankfully, again, it was money that I could afford to lose. It was not a big chunk of my net worth. But you're going to win and you're going to lose some. So I would encourage you to have the rule of don't lose money, be conservative, get your foundation in place, a safe foundation that might be more conservative where you might get a smaller return, but it's solid. Like investing in the S&P stock index fund, like Vanguard, the VOO is one you can go look at so you can kind of see what it's about. I'm not telling you to go invest in that one. By the way, I am not a licensed broker dealer. I'm not a financial advisor. I'm not licensed to be able to give investing advice. So don't act on any advice. I'm not giving advice. Don't act on this stuff about investing because if you do, that's on you. Okay. I'm not telling you what to do because if I told you to just do something and you made money, I'm not your hero. If you go out and invest money and you lose it, I'm not the reason why that you lost the money. So just understand that's my disclaimer. But I'm simply, conceptually, I'm telling you, if you instead of being a stock picker, picking one company to win, one company to go up, you're better off taking the index, which is like the S&P 500. That is 500 of the best companies in America that are all in one fund. So you got a little piece of ownership in 500 different companies. Some of those companies will be doing really great. Some will be doing okay. Some will might maybe go out of business. Probably won't go out of business. Most S&P companies don't go out of business, but some might not have good quarters of earnings. But the collective basket of stocks tends to go up on average 10% a year over the last 50 years. That's the history of it. So if you could get 10% return year after year after year on average, that compound effect is the rule of 72. It'll double. Your money will double in that every 7 years on average. Now, if you put it in at the top of a bull market and then suddenly next year it turns into a bear market, the timing of that, it might go down before it goes back up again. But history states that it might be a little jagged on the way up, but it will go up 10% on average over time. You go look on Google or look at the charts and you'll see exactly what I'm talking about. It's up and to the right, not in a straight line, but it ends up all the way up there. So build a safe foundation before increasing your risk, swinging for the fences, trying to find the next Apple or the next Google or the next Netflix. Okay? That's a little bit on investing. By the way, buying crypto is gambling. Buying crypto is gambling. I'm not telling you to buy it or not. I'm not saying never buy crypto. I own some. I'm gambling. It's a binary thing. It either goes up or down. Like I own some Bitcoin. I own some Ethereum. Bitcoin and Ethereum are not paying me income. They're not giving me dividends. I buy it because I believe it will go up in value. Now, truth be told, my Ethereum is below what I paid for it. My Bitcoin is about a little above where I paid for it. But it's a gamble. You're gambling on the price going up. And if it goes down, you lose money. If it goes up, you make money. It's a gamble. Investing in stocks, for example, you're buying a share of that company's future profits. So all that stock I own in Apple, of course, I want it to go up in value because I want my stock price to appreciate so I can gain. That's the gamble. I'm still gambling in Apple that the price will go up, but I'm also getting dividends. Every quarter, they send me cash because I own a piece of Apple. I was watching a funny movie years ago. I forget the name of the movie. And two guys were sitting at a nightclub trying to impress some girls that were standing near them. And they felt like if they were really highly successful, maybe these girls would be gold diggers and like be impressed and want to hang out with them. So they're talking about these companies they own. Yeah, they're like, yeah, I got ownership in Google. I got ownership in Facebook. And they start talking, and the girl's like, what? You guys own these companies? Like, yeah. You know what they're saying? They own a few shares. They own like $1,000 of Google. They own like $500 share of Facebook. Okay. But that's the truth though. You can own some of these companies that you actually are customers of by owning shares of stock in those companies. And when they make profit and they pay out dividends, you're going to get some of the cash that is rightfully yours. So investing is to get the future profits from the shares you own. If you invest in real estate, okay, you're doing it because you want the appreciation, which is the gamble, but you're getting future income from rental income from a tenant that moves in and pays you rent to rent the house. That's why when Robert Kiyosaki or Grant Cardone say you shouldn't buy your own home because it's not an asset that actually gives you any money because you're staying in it. You're not getting rental income from yourself. Now, by the way, I don't agree with Robert or Grant. They're nice guys. They teach a lot of great stuff. But I will never let go of my belief that you should own your own home. I want to own my home. I want it, instead of paying somebody else's rent and paying their mortgage, I want to pay my own mortgage. As it pays down and I own the house outright, I've got an asset that's worth something that I could sell or I could rent out. If I want to move, I can move out of that house and move into another house and I can rent out the one I just had paid off or a lot of it paid off. So all to say, I believe in home ownership. So I don't ascribe to what they teach about that. But what I'm saying is, when you own your own home, you get to whatever improvements you want to make on it. You're not going to improve a rental house you're living in. You're not going to put a deck on the house for them. You're not going to finish somebody else's basement. You're not going to put up fancy wall coverings and wallpaper and furnishings and all that, that is going to be left there when you leave. You wouldn't do that unless you owned it. So I want you all to own your own home. I think it's a good thing to do because you can call it your home. It's not a borrowed place. It's your home. So I believe owning it. And your rent that would go to somebody else is going to be paying off your mortgage. That's going to build up your equity. Equity is something that's good. Okay, let's keep going. So a lot of you guys know that I'm in multi-level network marketing. And which basically is a home-based business, whether you're selling subs, lotions, potions, legal services, whatever you're selling, I would submit that maybe 100% of that side business income gets invested. And then you keep living off your paycheck. And I'm going to share with you what I show people that are looking at potentially getting started in a home-based business. If you can create an extra income, so maybe you make 50 grand, 100 grand, 200 grand a year at your job. What if you made an extra $10 a day, $300 a month in your side business from home? That's totally doable. There's not a network marketing or home-based business opportunity I've ever seen where it's really hard to make an extra $300 a month. But look at this. If you take that $300 a month and you invest it in, let's say the S&P index fund, in 10 years, it's going to grow into $61,900. In 20 years, $229,000. In 30 years, $683,000. And in 40 years, $1.9 million. I see some of you guys taking screenshots and taking a picture of this. It's, by the way, it's in the Money Mindset book, and I teach all about this. But let's say you ramp it up a little bit more. Let's say in that side business you're making an extra $600 a month. Again, you absolutely can do that. It's not hard to do. That's going to turn in 10 years, 123,000, 20 years, 459,000, 30 years, 1.3 million, and 40 years, $3.8 million. Let's say you get real ambitious with it and you start making an extra 3,000 a month. But here's the key. Here's what most people screw up on. You start making this extra money and now you got extra money to spend. So now you're going on more vacations. You're drinking more alcohol when you go out. You go out, you eat out more. You're getting new shoes and you're getting another car and you get a new handbag and you're spending all the money. So you add to the extra income stream, but you add all this extra outflow, all these extra expenses, and at the end of the year, you got nothing to show for it. You might have some stuff, but your net worth is not grown. You're not any wealthier. You're not any closer to retirement. That $306,000, you're not even gonna be able to have a Happy Meal. You're gonna have to take turns. Who's gonna get the Happy Meal this time? I'm not even kidding. So I'm submitting to you that if you took the extra income and just took it off the table and said, we're not spending this. I'm going to be frugal. I'm going to be smart with my money. I'm going to be a good steward. If God's allowing me to have this extra money come in, let me be, you guys probably already heard the story in the Bible, the parable of the three kids or the three men that were given money. One went out and 5X'd it. One went out and doubled it. One buried it in the ground and gave it back and said, hey, I protected it. You know what the answer to that was? Why in the world would you just bury the money? I told you to go out there and multiply it. And you just buried it and you're giving the same money back? Basically, he was saying that was despicable. So be a good steward of the money that you're able to make. You've got a gifting. You've got an opportunity. You somehow, fate has it that you got into a business that can help you generate money. If you could go out and make $3,000 a month of extra money and you put it into this 10% formula, in 30 years, you got $6.8 million. 3,000 a month. And in 30 years, heck, you might not have 20. Let's say you got 20 years left. $2.3 million. You can retire probably pretty good on $2.3 million. All it takes is $3,000 a month starting right now. Don't put off till tomorrow what you know you got to do today. Look, there's if I had a person A and a person B, person A making 10 grand a month with the wrong mindset, or person B making $1,000 a month with the right mindset, I'm betting my money on person B. The wrong mindset, they're going to spin their wheels, churning and burning. The person with the money mindset that I'm teaching you guys tonight, even if you have less money coming in the front door, if you're doing the right things with it, you're factoring the latte factor, you're always remembering the opportunity cost, you're paying yourself first, you're investing that money, you're not touching it, you're making it grow, get rid of all credit card debt. I'm telling you, what I have taught you so far, just in this hour, getting ready to land the plane in a few minutes, in this hour, you now have more financial literacy than 97% of the population out there. You're in the top 3% now with knowledge. So now it's not a lack of knowledge. Now it's a lack of discipline. Now it's a lack of execution. And I don't want that for you. We talked about this already. $600 a month, you can turn it into $3.8 million if you have enough runway. And if you don't have enough runway, if you're a little later in life, you got to speed up your earning process with some urgency. And maybe you don't invest 10%, you invest 20%, invest 30%, or take all your extra income that's coming in from a side business and put it all into investments. I'm a big believer in what Robert Kiyosaki has taught with this cash flow quadrant. Everybody lives in a quadrant. You're either the E, the S, the B, or the I. The E quadrant, you're an employee working for somebody else, trading your time for money. You got a job. You're not going to find freedom as an employee because you have to keep giving away your time to get money. So that freedom is not found in the E quadrant. Some people realize that. They go, okay, I need to be self-employed. I don't want to work for somebody else, trading my time to work for them. I want to be self-employed. So they go into the S quadrant. What they find that they have there is now they own the job. They don't have a job. They own a job. They still got to go out there and work for money. If you're a real estate agent getting $10,000 commission on a sale, a chiropractor making $100 per appointment, a massage therapist making $150, an attorney billing at $400 an hour, a surgeon making $20,000 per surgery, whatever, they still got to work if they want to get paid. So eventually you got to realize that freedom is not found in the E or the S quadrant. Some people get exposed to the right opportunity or they seek it out. They're like, I learned about the B and the I. I want to be in the B quadrant, the big business owner quadrant, where you have a system and you got other people making money for you. You've got leverage. You're not being leveraged anymore. You're using leverage. You're giving other people an opportunity to get involved in your system, to work and make money for themselves. But you're getting an override on it all. A B quadrant business owner, a real estate broker with thousands of agents or hundreds of agents is a B quadrant business owner. A network marketer with a big downline out there selling products or service for them. Big business owner. When you become a network marketer by yourself, you're in the S quadrant. Selling whatever product or service you're selling, you're in the S quadrant. But when you build a team under you, now you move over to the B quadrant. Now you're making money on others' efforts, not just your own. And when you got B quadrant money coming in, you know what you got to do as fast as you can? Get into the I quadrant as well. You're going to have 1 foot in the B and 1 foot in the I. Now you're an investor. Your money's making you money. Whether it's stocks, real estate, whatever those investments are, your investments are making you money. Like Kevin O'Leary in Shark Tank always says, I want to send my money out into the world. I have it come back with friends. So that's where I wanted to live. And so I now live in the B and the I quadrant. I will never work for somebody else, and I will never work just for myself. The left side of this equation, the E and the S, forbidden ground. I don't even like going to visit people over there. I can taste their anxiety. I don't want it. I spend my whole life every day pulling people over to the B quadrant, pulling people over to the I quadrant, because that's where freedom is found. And where you find freedom, you find happiness. You find people that have time and money at the same time. I want that for you guys. Robert Kiyosaki says, it's more important to grow your income than to cut your expenses. It's more important to grow your spirit than to cut your dreams. Dream bigger, faster. Stop with the lack. The mindset of lack is hurting you. Scarcity mindset. It's crushing your dreams. You can have everything that you want. Grow your dreams. You know, knowing that you need to make a change is not enough. You got to have the guts to go do it. If you don't have a home-based business, go get in one. Figure one out. Explore the right vehicle for you. Find something you believe in that's got all 3 forms of income. And then give it everything you got. Look, guys, my favorite author and business coach of all time, Jim Rohn, he always taught you work hard all day at your job to earn a living. But you should be working spare time, nights and weekends, building your fortune. I don't know, and I don't care what you do 9 to 5. I care what you do. I care what you do from your 5 to 9. Part of that will be dinner with your family. Sure. It might be a night that you go to church. Sure. But throughout the 7 days a week, you got nights and weekends, you can find time to build the extra income, to pay yourself first, to put it in the wealth building account, knock out all the high level of interest rate debt, and start putting that money to work. And again, the money mindset book, I don't have time. We're done the hour now, but go read the book, and you'll get the insights on how to pay the least amount of taxes. You get the insights on where I've invested my money over the last 30 years to put my family in a perfect financial moat scenario. So that's a different topic. This is the money mindset, the foundational stuff. You have it. What you do with this information that you now own is in there. You got it. What you do with this now is up to you. I hope, like Jim Rohn always said, I'm stealing it from him. I hope one day I hear from you, and you're excitedly bragging in a good way, not in a boastful way, but you're excited to tell me that, Brian, 5 years ago, I was on a webcast that you did, and I took that information about wealth building, and I put it into work, and now I've got a 7-figure net worth. I now have $500,000. I now have $1 million. I now have 2 million. I'm now on the path to retirement. I want to hear my name and your testimonial. Alex Shahid introduced me tonight, opened up this webcast, shared his story about how that young man in his 30s has a 7-figure net worth now. Taking the advice that I gave him over the years and implementing. I want to be that mentor for you. I asked you before, who's your mentor? Who's your financial mentor? I hope that you'll go forward and say, one of mine is Brian Carruthers. So guys, I appreciate your all's time here tonight. You guys have stuck around here for the last hour and 7 minutes. I hope that you got incredible value. I hope that you're inspired. You know what you got. You know what you're dealing with. You know what you need to do. And my prayer for you, dear God, all of my friends watching this right now, God, you're a faithful God. God, you are so loving. You don't give us anything we can't handle. You give us circumstances you know we can overcome. You want a prosperous life for us. Any stress is temporary. God, you have given every one of us what we need. You didn't make anybody a failure. Some of us are in a valley right now, and you're guiding us through what we're going through right now to get to the other side, to the top of the mountain. That's my prayer for you guys, that God is going to be there right by your side and help you through whatever you're going through right now. And you're going to come out happy and victorious. You're doing this for your family. You're doing this for everybody that's around you. And you're going to be a great example of great stewardship.